Hi guys, we're going to continue the theme of total surface area, working out the area of every face and side of a 3D object. In this case, we have a cylinder, and it's not as, I guess, straightforward to like your triangular prism or your rectangular prism or your cube. So there's, I guess, with the context of a circle and using the irrational value of pi, uh, I want to show you how we, I guess, derive the formula to work out the total surface area of a cylinder. So in this case here, we've got a diagram of one. The radius is obviously from the middle to the end, and the height is going to be the length of that cylinder. Okay, so if we really did a net diagram of it, we would have a circle from the top. We would have a circle also at the bottom of the cylinder. And then what we would have this, let's say the top and the bottom were taken off, you would have a tube. And then if you would cut the tube, if you were to cut lengthways, you would end up having a rectangle, okay? And the thing about this rectangle, this length here of the rectangle is the same as the perimeter of the circle. Okay. Hope that makes sense. So going around the circle, if you were to, cut it there and then unravel this curve, you would get the same length as that side there. Okay. This side of the rectangle is the same as h, and obviously we've got r being the radius. Okay. All right, so if we add all of this together, what we'll end up having is the area of the circle. So we got two of those. Okay, so that means we have pi r squared is the area of one circle. We want two of them, so we got 2 pi r squared as our two circles. Okay, so again, we're kind of breaking it up into portions and we're going to add it all together. And the rectangle that we're dealing with is 2 pi r and h. And you know the area of a rectangle is going to be the length times the width, which is 2 pi r times h, okay? And so we've got 2 pi r h as our rectangle. So we got that plus that is going to give us the full cylinder, okay? So total surface area is going to be 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. Now, in simple terms, I guess we can see that they have two terms in this formula. We can keep it as this, that's completely fine, but we could actually simplify it because these two terms have some factors in common, and that factor in common is 2 pi r. And once we've taken out that factor of 2 pi r, we end up having r plus h left on the inside. So we could use that expanded form, or we could use this factorized form. It will get exactly the same result for the two circles and the side walls of that cylinder. Okay, so please make sure you've put that into your notes as a reference for your formulas. So let's put this into practice and look at some examples here. We've got two cylinders here. Top one here, I guess if we're looking at our formula, I'm just going to write it out. So 2 pi r and then r plus h is our formula, okay? And so going back to algebra, looking at how we actually substitute the values that are given, making sure you substitute the correct values that are actually labeled in the diagram. So the radius is 3. So we're going to say 2 times pi times 3, okay, whatever that value is. is then also multiplied by 3 plus 4. Okay, so 3 plus 4 is 7 times 3 times pi times 2. Okay, all right, so let's put that in our calculator. We can abbreviate it as well if we want to. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 7 is 42. So you could say 42 times pi is what we'll end up having. So 42 times pi is 132. So let's just abbreviate it, 132 meters squared. Okay, so that's our total surface area for that cylinder. Moving on to the next one here. Notice that instead of having the radius, we have the diameter of the circle. So what we want is we need to change that to 8.5 centimeters, because that's going to be our radius. Okay, so we've already got a height which is 21, and we can essentially put this back into the formula, 2 pi r plus h. So 2 times pi times 8.5, and then 8.5 plus 21. Okay, 21 plus 8.5 is 29.5. And multiplying that across, our total surface area is going to be 29.5 times 8.5 times pi times 2. We've got 1575.5. Okay, 1575.5, making sure our units of measurement is correct, centimeters squared. Okay, and then lastly, we've got this, question. It might take a little bit longer, so I'll leave this to the next video, and we'll unpack this in a little bit more detail. I'll see you then.